Yeah, but by episode, like, never, doesn't matter.
Well, now with these people that you have listening to you, you got to mold it and shape them into super fans that will follow you and buy any of your merch and then grow it and grow it and grow it. That's kind of the idea of being a stand-up comic or an artist, musician, or whatever. Mm-hmm. You cultivate, you find those people that are attracted to what your brain wavelength is, and then you keep them on.
Yeah.
And instead of shunning them or anything like that, you just, hey, you know what? We're gonna grow you guys.
I want to shun everybody.
I just want to shun you all.
I only want 30 people to listen to this podcast because they're the ones that give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want us to get all big and famous, and then everybody's like, no, give me the ones who are listening to us from the beginning. Everybody else can fuck right off. Yeah. All right. Anyway,
it's part about the media too, and mainstream or whatnot, about how you connecting to the world.
Yeah.
So you're the underground. You're below the underground, actually. Let's just be fair.
Yeah.
Just below here, and then you're just slowly climbing your way to the not so popular, but enough to get some attention. Yeah. And eventually you'll break through that ice to the next level and keep going up.
I agree with that. And honestly, like, at least my goal is to continue on my path of personal development, right? And then to be able to provide our listeners with, like, practical and applicable
there you go.
information, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome to have guests on and be able to have conversations like this, and then like what did you do this week that you grew through?
I think for me, just personally realizing, because I moved back to Boise, all on the age of 40, and then moved back in with my mom and stepdad.
Right.
From being a full-time stand-up comic, just making a living at stand-up comedy, to now part-time comedy, part-time at a gas station, living with my mom and stepdad. So there's a lot of, dark thoughts in my head as of lately.
Naturally.
But I realized, yes, I put myself kind of in this situation, and I'm beginning to be okay with it and finding a way out of it. Right. And just climbing out of that hole, like after a joke that has bombed, and just in that gratification of climbing out of it, and like, oh, there's light. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm heading there, and nothing's going to get in the way. And, of course, there will be things that will get in the way, but I do have a goal now.
Yeah, they're more like hurdles.
Yeah.
And it's hard,
walls.
though, too, because you can get comfortable doing that. Like, you're at your mom's house, and
very complacent.
She'll cook and do all the things that, like, she did when you were growing up, and you can be like,
totally mothers me. It's so, it's adorable. I kind of love it, but it's like, it's weird at the same time.
Oh, absolutely, because like you're a grown adult man.
Yeah.
And like you don't need, I mean, it's nice, but like, I don't need you to do my laundry, Mom. Like, I know how to.
I gotta do that.
I get it.
My stepdad hates all that. Like, he's 40. I get it.
Yeah.
He's 40. He has a beard.
Like the other day, can I cook you dinner? No, I already ate. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. And
do you mind if I ask, like, what brought you back to that situation? Is it too much, or
a little too much at this point in time? But
that's fair.
But dealing with it right now, and
Okay.
made some bad choices, and but I guess that's more personal growth too, is dealing with those consequences and making amends.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Like, the wreckage of your past catches up to you. I know I'm still dealing with wreckage from my past.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of financial debt that that I'm close to having paid off.
Nice.
Yeah.
And like student loans just by itself, like so ridiculous how much money in student loans that I've paid off in the last 5 years.
Yeah. The student loan process is insane.
Well, not only is it insane, it's ridiculous. Like,
it shouldn't cost that much money to to further your education. Like they give us the first 12 years for free. You know what I mean? Like from first grade through high school, or kindergarten, whatever.
That's how they get you.
They give it, they give you just a taste.
Taste for free.
And then, you want to keep going, you got to fork up the big bucks. Like, why should I spend $30,000 a year and put myself $175,000 in debt to fucking get an English literature degree that I'm never going to use?
This bag of education costs a lot of money. All right?
It's insane. It
you
just
think this
doesn't
is
make any sense.
medicinal cocaine?
I mean, like I almost feel with people with student debt and whatnot, only because of 8.5 years ago I got into a car accident that was in Wisconsin, and it literally shattered my left hip and my left foot.
That's right.
And so I was in the hospital for a couple of months and got a couple of diseases through it, which added to the bills.
Oh, wow.
Developed ileus. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Tell us about that.
That's where your intestines stop working.
Oh.
And so everything is just building in your stomach until it pops.
Is that
So you were literally full of shit.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't mind.
My mom was correct. So it happens after some surgeries to certain people, and it happened to me. And so they had to put a tube through my nose into my stomach and then pump it out for about a week. And I had an ice chip diet. You know how much weight I lost in the hospital? It was amazing. I looked good. I should get into accidents more often.
Well, I mean, we can work something out when we get out of here
exactly.
if you want.
Yeah. Let's try it out.
I'll provide the ice chips.
Boom, and I will give you the tubing.
And then when I left the hospital, found out I'm allergic to sulfa, which is in some antibiotics.
Okay.
And
kind of like somebody being allergic to penicillin or something. Okay.
And I developed Stephen Johnson syndrome.
Jesus.
Which
Tell us about that.
Basically, it burns off your skin.
Jesus.
Until you're dead.
Yikes.
You died?
Yeah.
Jesus.
You have 24 hours to figure it out. Wow. And then go through the process of getting rid of it. And so I was staying with a friend of mine, and I'm scratching my butt, and part of my butt came off. Like too much butt should come off from a scratch, you know?
Yeah.
I go, you should take a look at this. Could you take a look at it? And he did. Took a picture of it. Like, good friend, you know?
Yeah, solid.
And he took the picture to the hospital, came back, you're coming with me.
Yeah.
And so I go back to the hospital and figured it out and got it flushed out of my system. Turns out my dad and his sisters are allergic to sulfa, which you don't know at the time.
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah.
But all in all, a lot of money in debt of that. I went through Medicare, Medicaid, and a few other things. Mm-hmm. But in the state of Wisconsin, what they can say is like, oh, you're already healed, so we can cut you off.
Mm.
They don't come out and check on you, like if you're still using a walker or anything like that. I was going through physical therapy and stuff like that, and at that time, they cut off everything, and so I had to do physical therapy on my own.
Yikes.
Like without help or without like financial funding?
Financial funding or help. So I had they gave me a couple of workouts to do throughout it. So I basically like walked on my own by myself.
Jesus.
And
see, that's the fucking medical system in this country.
Yeah.
That's why we should vote for Bernie.
Dude, Alan Watts has a spiel about medical institutions. They're like they're designed for the convenience of the staff.
Yeah,
it's insane.
And so it's kind of like the education system too, where you put a lot into it but not get a lot out of it. Just
we're not people that need to be healed. We're customers with money.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like going back into the workplace at Stinker gas station. I'm looking at my pay stubs and like, man, I should be making a lot more money. Oh, government's taking out a lot more, like just taxes and
what's
stuff
that
like
called?
Garnishing?
Is it garnished or no?
Is it being garnished or is it just?
Nope, just the regular, just state tax. Like, wow, like what? I mean, I got a lot back this taxes this year, but it's like. It's insane. Like, where does that money go? Why isn't it going to, Medicare or whatever to funding education that should be like lottery.
And that's what Bernie wants to do,
yeah.
is take the money that's being funneled through our taxes to give these big corporations all kinds of breaks and put it towards making school affordable, making healthcare affordable, and all these things. Because we're already paying the taxes anyway. He just wants to reallocate them. And that's why whenever, Bernie just wants to give you free stuff. Like, no, he doesn't. We're already paying for it. He just wants to give it to us, and like as a return on the money we're already paying in taxes.
Huh.
Anyway, this is about you, not the state of the. The union.
I kind of like the way that this is going though. A little political. I'm not super political.
No,
I mean,
but
politics
I'm trying to learn more.
Politics plays in our lives way more often than it should.
Yeah,
they just get in your way a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. I mean, granted, it's probably a little easier for us because we're all white men in America, so there's a little bit of ingrown privilege there that we're afforded. But I mean, for the most part, if I break my leg tomorrow, I'm going to be paying for it till I'm 50.
I don't want to disagree with that statement, but why do you say that?
Why do I say what? That
the ingrown.
Well, because white men traditionally have been the ones in a position of power since the beginning of everything. Like, since the founding of America, kings in England have all been white. Like, it's all white men making the rules. I mean, women couldn't vote until like 6 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that math isn't right. But
again, I'm not saying you're wrong, but what does that have to do with us?
He's saying you're wrong. He's throwing that out there.
It just means that we don't face the same kind of problems that, I mean, we don't have to worry that if one of us gets pulled over that we have to worry about getting shot. Like, we don't have to worry that, people are going to, it's just, being white is not the cause of any of our problems. Whereas, like, somebody who's Latin or black or a woman, because of those distinctions, they have a harder uphill battle than we do. Mm. Like, I can pretty much get away with whatever because I'm charming and I can talk my way out of a lot of situations. And for the most part, I'm unassuming, so nobody's going to bother me anyway. But if I was a couple shades darker, I might have to be worried about walking home by myself late at night.
Right. Or female.
Yeah. I lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yes.
For about 10 years.
Were you the minority?
I basically was a minority. I mean, Milwaukee is the most segregated city in the country. Like,
whites over here.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's pretty scary. Huh. I lived in an area where there were literally hipsters and gangsters kind of living together in close space, like murders every day, 2 blocks away from my house, and a lot of it is basically it's a lot of African American crime on African American people, but there was also certain areas you should not walk down at night or any night, anybody,
right?
And it's. So I see that side of things, and I'm not developing a joke. I don't know. Maybe it could be a joke, but moving back to Boise, like, oh man, it feels great to walk at night. Like it feels amazing. And I think it's more of kind of culturally where you live and
that's true.
And that also helps to apply.
Because it was the same way growing up in Brooklyn. Like there were areas that I couldn't go, or if I did, I had to be careful.
Yeah,
and it's just but that was just because of it wasn't like institutional. It was just based on like there were even certain like Italian neighborhoods that I knew to stay out of because I had problems with different kids over there. You know what I mean? Like it was just it wasn't.
And I think part of the problem, especially in Milwaukee. The reason why there is so much crime and whatnot, because there used to be a lot of factory jobs, a lot of good work out there that people worked hard at, made money, could afford houses, could afford things like that, and then it was all shut down. because a lot of companies moved overseas to avoid paying high taxes, and all those jobs went away.